A couple days ago was the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. Many people made videos, talked a lot about him. I wanted to wait a couple days afterwards to express my views on the late Dr. MLK. We know if he were alive today, he'd be 86 years old. And many people love to talk about the work he did for desegregation, which in fact was great work, but it wasn't the only work that he did. Just prior to his death, Martin Luther King Jr. talked a lot about ending the military-industrial complex and getting out of Vietnam, and income equality. He was rallying and marched to Poor People's Movement, a march. We all know that Herbert Hoover of the FBI said that Martin Luther King was the most dangerous man in America, and he said that because Martin Luther King was able to galvanize people from all backgrounds, black, white, Native American, Asian, together for a united cause. This is what made him dangerous. So when I listen to people who are talking to only one group of people all of the time, I realize how safe they actually are to the mainstream and to the status quo. It's when the rhetoric changes from that of division to inclusion to a focused central goal that helps everyone and galvanizes all people is when you become dangerous, which is what Malcolm X was doing just before his death and is what Martin Luther King Jr. was doing just before his death. But I was looking at an article also about Martin Luther King Jr. as a Republican, and the truth, it's an article actually posted on Addicting Info, and it's written by author Oliver Willis, who was one of the first political bloggers in the world since 2000, and he was among the first bloggers to interview President Obama at the White House. You might want to follow him. I encourage you to do so at O Willis. Okay, O Willis, O-W-I-L-L-I-S. And his article was Martin Luther King Jr. a Republican? The truth will make conservatives freak out. Conservatives and Republicans love to claim that Martin Luther King Jr. is on their own, or one of their own. They claim that the legendary clergyman and civil rights icon was a Republican, and sometimes even claim he was a conservative. This is a lie. Dr. King had harsh words for both parties. Actually, the Negro has been betrayed by both the Republican and the Democratic Party. The Democrats have betrayed him by capitulating to the whims and caprices of the Southern Dixiecrats. The Republicans have betrayed him by capitulating to the blatant hypocrisy of reactionary right-wing Northern Republicans. This coalition of Southern Dixiecrats and right-wing reactionary Northern Republicans defeats every bill and every move towards liberal legislation in the area of civil rights. So, right there, black and white, Martin Luther King Jr. said both parties were in direct conflict with the needs and the ultimate hope of black people. Now, I don't know how Republicans can transform the past, but they do often. And so do Democrats, for that matter. If you just listen to what he said, okay? But he said in October 56 letter to a civil rights supporter that he had always voted Democrat, or the Democratic ticket. And in Dr. King's autobiography in the 60s, he voted for John F. Kennedy in 1960 because he felt that Kennedy would make the best president. He also wrote that had President Kennedy lived, I probably would have endorsed him in 64. As far as the Republican Party, Dr. King specifically attacked them for their hard turn to the right in 64 with the nomination of conservative Barry Goldwater. King said that the party had begun pandering to racist elements, and as a result, he could not support Goldwater in the election versus sitting President Lyndon Johnson. So look, think what you want to think about King. You can continue to debate about if he was a Republican or a Democrat, but I don't know how much clearer it becomes. The pandering of Republicans to the lesser of the conservative wing of its party is something they do to this day, and they continue to do. Just look at Trump. Democrats, I don't know how much better they are. In fact, I challenge you to prove me that they are better. Bill Clinton sent more black people to jail than weed. So in that frame of reference, come on, guys. We have to take a look at the history surrounding both parties and realize that neither party is catering to the needs of black folks. Oliver Willis concludes his article by saying, similarly, the right's claim that Dr. King was a conservative is laughable. King was well to the left of even the Democratic Party and opposed the party on key issues like the Vietnam War, to which King objected. King was a big supporter of an increased minimum wage as well as workers' rights like unionization. Does that sound like a conservative? No, it doesn't. And sorry, guys, sounds a lot like, based on everything I've read, it sounds a lot like Bernie Sanders. And I know a lot of people aren't going to be very excited about my choice. They'll say, Bernie Sanders can't win. We think that Hillary's going to take it. We got to vote for Hillary because she's going to be the presumptive nominee. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to vote based on my fears. I'm going to vote based on my optimism. And my optimism currently is in the Democratic Party anyway. It's with Bernie Sanders for obvious reasons. If you're an MLK fan, what can you do? But a lot of corny guys, corny people of no solutions, who have no solutions other than abstinence from the political processes, if that's a solution. It may make you feel good to say you're not going to vote for anybody, but that doesn't help. These people don't vote in local elections. They don't vote in state. They don't vote to send senators or House of Representatives or congressmen to the White House. They do nothing but sit around and complain. And they benefit off the pathology of misguided black folks. Continue to pit us against one another, and somehow I don't understand how that's going to make things better, but it is sure entertaining, right? Ha 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 ha. Funny, funny, funny. So we can be angry or we can do something about it. And if we get one or two things or some things from the election process, that's better than no things. Doesn't mean we don't have work to do. We have work to do collectively. I think we need to all start businesses. I would love to see everyone for 2016 or 2016 to go out and start a business. I would love to see that. Contact me at timstake2@gmail.com if you have a business you'd like to promote. I'll help you promote it. And if you'd like to help my business further my word and you agree that we should work together, not against one another, donate to my show here, patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. I do a show every day at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're lucky to tune in, or you're welcome to tune in. And you'll be lucky as well. Lucky and welcome. Miss me with the bullshit. Complaining ain't going to get it done. I'm Tim Black. Subscribe, donate, and contact me. timstake2@gmail.com. Tim Bartender on Twitter. Happy birthday, Dr. King. Happy 86th birthday.